So, sorry about the constant restreams. It seems like 5th time's the charm now. Restarted my route and everything. We've got Connor on pole as the clock turns to 0. And then we've got Pink Eye Penguin in 2nd place, Elmo in 3rd, Tino in 4th place, Jessica in 5th, our sprint winner. Great. A good weekend for him so far. Kiers now in 6th, Star Defender in 7th, Hella High and the Donster in 8th and 9th. Vorsky in 10th, Lulas in 11th, Sensei Fish in 12th, Outlaw Kakameste in 13th, and we'll go to the screen actually. What? This is... Sorry about this. Seems like restarting the router did the trick. We have Backass in 14th. Backass in 14th. KJDT in the Williams in 15th. Luco in 16th. Krispy Kreme in 17th. And Names Jeff in 18th. We got Krispy Kreme having a 5-place grid penalty. Not that it makes much of a difference, but it's going to be interesting. I don't know how he got that, considering the fact that it's normally where you collide with another driver. But as we say that, we're going in for the race. So, it's raining, it's pouring, and the Austrian Grand Prix is going. I don't really know what I was going with that. We got 18 drivers on the grid for the main race. Connor leads, Pink Eye Penguin, Elmo in 3rd. Pink Eye Penguin making a late addition to the grid, just after the sprint race finishing in 2nd place, qualifying in 2nd place. Everyone's starting on an intermediate tyre, unsurprisingly. I would be very, very surprised if I'll be very, very surprised if some people started on wets. A relatively full grid for today's race, so that's good. You know, we enjoy full grids, close to full grids at least. And good news, no more dropped frames. It seems like restarting my router did the trick. What a weird event. Tried fixing it in many different ways. Anyway, I'm gonna stop yapping because we've got a race to focus on. Anytime now, the 5 lights will get underway and we can enjoy 18 cars going around. What is it? Basically, officially 10 turns, but realistically 9 turns. We get ready up at 53 past. It's currently 52, so we've got 1 minute remaining. And yeah, everything should be fine. Let's just make sure that the stream itself is working. Nice. Yeah. Okay. It's fine. Right. So drivers are already up now. And we can see what will happen. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And we get underway for the Austrian Grand Prix. Connor maintains the lead of the race, but Tino will try to go down the inside of the Aston Martin, ghosting through turn 1, and Tino has lost 1 position to Jessic. Jessic going up into 4th place, climbing up the hill towards turn 3. The Aston Martin of Elmo will be looking to try to go down the inside. No, Jessic does, and he's going to go up into P3, into the podium places. No, it's the drag race. through what used to be the DRS straight, now it's just a normal straight into turn 4, and Jesek goes up into the podium. Elmo punching the rear slightly, but we continue on. Elmo side by side going into turn 5, and Elmo has to concede on this lap. The sprint race winner Jesek going up into the podium. Tino and Elmo hungry behind. Lellers and Outlaw overtaking. That is overtaking Outlaw as Kirsnow and Tino are fighting it out, and Kirsnow getting a very, very good overtake done on Tino through turns 8, 9 and 10. And we go into turn 1. We got Vorski in 8th place, trying to get the overtake down on Donster, but not budging in the slightest. And Lellers under pressure from Hella High, going up into turn 3. The Hella High getting punted in the rear by, well, who was it? It was probably the Mercedes, I believe. Considering the Mercedes is going pretty slowly, but I could be wrong there. And nothing doing it. The two Williams are fighting it out, and KJDT going out wide into the gravel, and Names Jeff moving up a place. Pink Eye Penguin under a second to Connor. The title, the championship fight, slowly moving away from Pink Eye Penguin. The momentum is in Connor's favour, but Pink Eye Penguin can do. If he wins this race, the momentum will switch back towards the Red Bull as Outlaw comes into the pits. Warski overtaking the Donster on the main straight. The V-carb of Lellers will try to take advantage, and the V-carb will get the overtake done through turn 2 and 3. Tino and Kiers now fighting it out at the hairpin. Tino going back up into 5th place, losing that position on the first lap, and it gets done. And Hella High, he's crashed into the barrier somewhere, and somehow doesn't look like he's got any visible front wing damage, but he has lost several places, down 6 places from 11th. Not a good start, but there's 33 laps of the race, and anything can happen in wet conditions. Pink Eye Penguin 4.5 tenths behind the Mercedes. Don't look like to be any moves going on, so we'll switch back to this train, the head being Elmo. Tino wants to go back up into 4th, losing several positions at the start. And wants to be challenging for the podium at least. Jesek is not too far away at front. Lellers and Warski fighting it out. Lellers moving up a place on Warski, the Haas driver. Now has to look behind, because Donster is going to catch up slightly. Back Haas though, the other Haas is right behind. So let's go to Tino actually. Tino pressuring Elmo at the moment. 6 tenths splitting the two drivers. No DRS obviously in the wet. Backass right behind Donster. Donster will cover the inside. We'll go back on the racing line as we head through turn 1. Backass would want to get a better exit, but the Ferrari seems to have done instead it. Ooh. And no moves here. Tino. 3 attempts, 2 attempts behind the Aston. No helping. The battle for 4th place continues on, heading into Sector 3. Pink Eye Penguin catching up to the race lead. And it seems like it's raining less and less. Pink Eye Penguin now getting the fastest lap. Let me just enable all of these. There we go. Pink Eye Penguin moving up into turn 3. Nothing there. Tino would like to get the move. Nope. But it's so close, and the Aston Martin takes a slightly wider line. Tino deploys the ERS. It's looking really dry. There's no more raindrops on the racetrack. So timing of the pit stop is absolutely essential, but there's no doubt that the track is still damp. And we go... This is a terrible camera angle. Anyway. Through turns 6 and 7. Oh, Tino going out wide, and Connor is the first one to blink to come into the pits. Jacek coming into the pits. Elmo coming into the pits. Kiers now also coming into the pits. There's no doubt that these guys will be pitting onto the dry compound tyres. Pink Eye Penguin continues on. Tino continues on. Star Defender continues on. Lelis continues on in the inters. Probably pitting 1 lap later, but it seems like the majority of the grid comes into the pits. Luco continuing on, Krispy Kreme continuing on as well. And DRS is enabled. Connor coming out of the pits in 5th place. Has got Jacek right behind on mediums, Connor on hards. Connor may be looking to go to the end of these tyres, but it will be a struggle considering there's 29 laps left to go. Will Pink Eye Penguin come in this lap? There's almost no doubt. DRS is enabled. And Sensei Fish and Bacchass are battling out through turn 3. Sensei Fish going out wide. And Bacchass in 15th. Pink Eye Penguin will come into the pits. Tino also coming into the pits. Star Defender, yes. Lelis, yes. And Connor. It's a relatively short pit lane around Austria. But has Pink Eye Penguin lost the lead? And that's hella high in 18th into the barriers on the medium compound tyre. What's happened there? Unfortunate for the Ferrari. Pink Eye Penguin will exit out of the pits. And whereas Connor, the strategy of pitting up 1 lap later has worked out for Pink Eye Penguin. He takes the de facto race lead. Connor just behind, but Connor's got heated tyres. They're warmer, they're fresh, they're not exactly fresher, but the DRS for Connor, no ERS to work with. Can't get the move done on this lap. But that's... Oh, it's a safety car. Everyone has slowed down. Something's happened. Don't know. There's no retirements. But it is a full course safety car, and that means everyone joins the back of what is either the Aston Martin or Mercedes safety car. And that allows a lifeline for a few drivers in the lower places, such as Hella High, who's had... There's no short of a shocking race so far, unfortunately. As we go through, the safety car waiting for Pink Eye Penguin to catch up. Jessic in 3rd place, Elmo in 4th, Tino in 5th, Piers now in 6th. Names Jeff comes into the pits now. Still was on the intermediates. Let's switch the position changes to tyre. There we go. So Jessic on mediums, Piers now on mediums, Lola's on mediums, Krispy Kreme on mediums. There's a wide variation. It could be possible that the hard tyre runners will try to go to the end. It does also help that the safety car comes out on this time, so they can save their tyres. The mediums won't last that long. They will have to pit again. I'm good. Hydrate. So everyone has a second chance to prove their race pace and overtake their competitors once again. That's one full lap of the safety car. Potentially 2 more to go before it is called in. "27 laps remaining, including this one, left to go. Hella High has lost his front wing somewhere. That definitely happened. What's happened there? I do not know, but yes, the Ferrari's lost its front wing. Luckily, there's a big gap between him and the actual safety car, so he won't be lapped. He goes on to another set of hard compound tyres, choosing the harder tyre set in the main menu, loading menu. But odd, what's happened there? Hella High can go to the end of these tyres, definitely. Does need to catch back up within this lap, otherwise the safety car will come in. But we'll see what happens. There we go. Warski also pitting during the safety car, later than others. We'll get to the back of the pack in this particular case. So, depends what wing levels everyone is on, but there could well be a DRS train once the safety car comes in. That is if Connor is patient and doesn't go immediately for the move. Hella High making his way through the final corner. This will be the lap the safety car will come in and Pink Eye Penguin will be the de facto safety car. So, slowing the pack down, the Red Bull driver at the Red Bull ring. 25 laps to go, slowing everyone right down. Hella High needs to catch up as quick as possible if he wants any chance of scoring points. Making their way very slowly. Connor waiting to see when Pink Eye Penguin will pounce. Not pouncing so far. Making their way through sector 3. Everyone is critically waiting. And it's still slow. Hella High will catch up to the back of the pack now. And Pink Eye Penguin goes now. And I think that may have caught Connor's slightly off guard. There's a slight gap, but it's fine. I think that's caught out Elmo a lot more though, because Elmo is now under pressure from the Salvo Tino. Yes. Oh, there's contact in the rear of the Aston Martin. But we go up the hill as Kiers now will now look to go over. Go and do an overtake on the Salvo. And Kiers now will get the move done. And it's a drag race, and there's been a big battle there. Star Defender going through. Kiers now going through an Elmo. And now Elmo's under pressure from Lellers. This has not been a good start for Elmo in this safety car. Locking up at turn 4. And Lellers now pressuring the Aston Martin. Lellers will try to go around the outside. He does. There's contact. And Lellers is forced off the racing line and into the gravel. And that allows Tino through. And Donster is just patiently waiting behind these 3 cars, battling it out. Lellers tried to go for an audacious move. Did not pan out the way it hoped it would be. Kiers now getting a 3-second time penalty. And going into the first lap. Properly into green flags. Pink Eye Penguin takes the fastest lap. DRS is now enabled. Jesek right behind Connor, right behind Pink Eye. Jesek not going for the move. This was the DRS game that Jesek was playing in the sprint race. And now it's got Pink Eye Penguin involved as well. Elmo going out wide in turn 3 again. Something's happened there. KJDT getting 3-second time penalty. Tino overtaking Elmo. And now has the Red Bull McLaren in front to overtake. KJDT losing several places. Has lost 3 positions in 1 turn. There's a huge battle up in front. And contact with the rear. And the Haas goes side by side with Lucas Vasvorski. And it continues on, but it seems like it's rested for now. As we focus back onto the leading cars, because we're back on the DRS straights. Can Pink Eye Penguin do anything to defend from Connor? Or Connor just be waiting? Into turn 3, Connor goes for the move down the inside of Pink Eye Penguin. Looks easy, it was easy, but Pink Eye Penguin slotting behind the rear. Not having DRS, Connor has a DRS to defend with. Pink Eye Penguin will go down the inside of the Mercedes, locking up the right front, and Connor will go side by side on the exit. It's going into turn 5, and Connor gets the move done. Again, defending from Pink Eye Penguin. And Connor moves up to the race lead. But don't think it's stopped there. We are just a few corners away. Back on the DRS straight. The race for the lead back in between the 3 drivers. Jesek just waiting patiently behind as we go on the main straight. Pink Eye Penguin already making the first move back into the race lead. Jesek waiting to see what happens between the 2. It's a hot battle at Austrian Grand Prix. Connor opening up DRS once again. Will he go for the overtake? He will. Placing his car in the middle of the track. But Pink Eye Penguin gets an amazing switchback at the exit. And this time, he doesn't have the DRS. Oh, he does have the DRS. And it makes it easier. Oh, wow. What a battle between these 2 drivers. Jesek just waiting. And Pink Eye Penguin for a magnificent switchback to defend his position, overtaking Connor once again on the next lap as Lucas and Outlaw retire from the session. Luco at the exit of turn number 4. The lead. Once again, DRS for everyone. Not for everyone. Connor. Now moving the way up to turn 3. Will Connor still go down the inside of turn 3 once again? Does Pink Eye Penguin do anything? Again, he is not able to go for the switchback this time. Pink Eye Penguin having the DRS. Connor going defensively. And Pink Eye Penguin will try to go around the outside of turn 4, locking up the front, right front. Still side by side. Amazing camera angle with Jessic, but Pink Eye Penguin concedes into turn number 6. Or turn number 4. I don't even know what corner numbers are anymore. I'm messing up every single time. Nevertheless, this battle is great as we head into the DRS straight. Once again, it's a very, very quick lap. Tino getting a time penalty. Oh, and Pink Eye Penguin going for a space. That was just on the racing line. Able to get the move done. And now Connor will have to go attacking once again. And he does. A more simpler move on this straight now. But Pink Eye Penguin won't defend on this occasion because he does have the DRS. The battle between the Red Bull and the Mercedes continues and rages on. Pink Eye Penguin using overtake, using the DRS. Connor defending on the inside. Nothing. Sensei Fish retires from the session, and it's another safety car. This time virtual, and something's happened. And the McLaren has just gone straight on. That turn 3, it's gone now, but something's happened there. Piers now did pit, and he might be regretting that decision because it's a full course safety car now, once again. And it's a pause. Do the drivers pit? You'll not be smart if you didn't pit this time because, especially for Jessek on the mediums, this is prime time. Depends, but which tyres will everyone go on? The Mercedes, Red Bull on hard compound tyres. Jessek, what's waiting for him? It's hard as well. Tino, mediums for Tino. The Red Bulls, the V cars having to double stack. Leller's pitting in onto hards as well. KJDT continues on interestingly with the mediums. That's a strategy call. Literally everybody else on the field has pitted. 10 lap old mediums. They won't last for long. He'll have to pit eventually. There's no way he can do 18 laps on mediums. Another 18 laps on mediums. Everyone back on fresh tyres. The top 3 now on equal footing with one another. Jessek was at a slight disadvantage because he had to pit again at some point. Now he doesn't have to. And we wait for Warski and Name's Jeff to catch up. Name's Jeff on soft tyres. Inspired strategy call. Probably didn't have another set of hards or mediums to work with, to be fair. Warski also on mediums. KJDT coming into the pits now. Let's have a look. So, everyone in the top 10, except for Tino, is on hards. Tino will be very fast and probably could be contending for the lead at some point. But tyres will wear off and the hards will come back. Tino also has a time penalty. We have V-car double points, Ferrari double points so far. And that's it. I can't see anybody else in the team that is scoring points currently. Piers now could overtake. Piers now is probably lamenting that he made that choice to pit in 1 lap earlier than the safety car. As safety car is in this lap. Connor leads the pack very slowly into sector 3. at a cruel's pace. It is 50 miles per hour, which is fast when anywhere else except for Formula 1. Highway speeds through these turns. Kind of like a parade lap, to be fair. Connor biding his time, waiting for the opportune moment to get underway once again. Everyone going extremely slowly. When will Connor push the throttle? And it's now. Connor goes now. Has that put Pink Eye off guard? It doesn't seem like it. Star Defender gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting as we head up into turn 1 for the 20th time in a row. No DRS on this lap. Tino and Star Defending have a 3-second time penalty. Hella High get a 3-second time penalty, and Hella High has retired from the session. Something's happened there at the exit of turn 1, and that's a retirement for the Ferrari. And it's another safety car. It's the 3rd safety car in a row. And oh dear, this is not what anyone wants. It's 3 safety cars in a span of 10 laps. So, back again. Everyone's slowing down. This time everyone's bunched up, so the safety car should come and go relatively quickly, but yeah, not ideal. But we continue on. 13 drivers left in the session. Few drivers in good positions if they stick with the train. For example, Elmo and Donster, Bacchass, who don't have time penalties currently, could go up further with Tino and Star Defender's time penalties. This also allows Tino to save and conserve his tyres. The mediums don't really last any longer than 12 or 11 laps. So if he did want to go to the end, this is a saving grace. And everyone now catches up to the safety car. Donster somehow overtaken Elmo. And oh, there's multiple switches of position. What's happened here? Name's Jeff has. What's happened here then? Huh. Odd. Okay. Nevertheless. Warski gets a 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. He did overtake Name's Jeff, but oh dear. Not ideal. Let me just do something quick. It's still under safety. Right, we're back in. Sorry about that. Wait, just making sure it was fine. Right, okay. Still under safety car. Warski has come into the pits to serve the 10-second time penalty. Not to his fault. He did overtake Name's Jeff, but probably by accident. Safety car, regardless, could come in this lap. Or because of the hassle, it will go for another round. Okay, it continues on. Also gives a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. That's an interesting penalty considering under a safety car. But probably wanted to catch up to the safety car queue as soon as possible. Right. When the safety car comes in this lap, it will be lap 24, and then 13 laps will remain, including that one. The battle for the lead will rage on. It was an exciting battle when the first safety car came in. The second safety car, after green flag, only lasted about 1 lap. And now we got a third one. Hopefully this one lasts for a little bit longer than those two. And Connor backs up the entire field once again. For the second time in a row. We're back on highway speeds. Into sector 3. Maintaining the speed limit of 52 miles per hour, and he goes! Connor goes once again. Very early compared to the last 2 safety cars. And green flag conditions once the cars reach the start finish line. KJDT gets a 3-second time penalty. Going up. Oh, there's a Sauber off, and that's Tino! Tino has lost several positions, trying desperately to get back on the race. And he manages to keep it off the wall, but now in 10th place. Kers now getting an overtake down on Lellers. And names Jeff going out wide at the hairpin. Has front wing damage, potentially having contact with a few drivers. But let's focus back onto the race leads. Connor, Pink Eye Penguin, Jesek, Star Defender, Elmos, Donster, Bacchus, Kers, Lellers and Tino make up your top 10 out of 13. Pink Eye Penguin, 3.5 temps. DRS will be enabled this lap. The Red Bull driver getting ever so close to taking the lead once again. Opens up the DRS. Connor can't really do anything about it. And the Red Bull will go down the inside. At turn 3, it's side by side at the apex. Connor getting a better exit. Pink Eye Penguin maintains having the DRS. Will have to go round the outside of Connor. Connor still on the inside. But Pink Eye Penguin makes an amazing move at turn 4. Wow. Tino losing places, gaining back 2 within 1 lap. The Sauber driver now has a recovery drive to focus on. The mediums are a good tyre at this stage when everyone else is on hards. 11 laps though, Pink Eye Penguin getting the fastest lap of the race. There's a huge gap between Kers and the Donster. And he moves on into turn 3 for the lead of the race. It could be Connor going down the inside. Takes the apex for himself. And who has a DRS? Connor does not have the DRS. They both don't have the DRS. And it's going to be a drag race. And Connor not being able... Pink Eye Penguin not being able to overtake Connor. Tina going up into 7th. Now has 3 seconds to catch up to Donster. Ten, laps to go. Pink Eye Penguin. The rear flap is open. This time focusing on the better exit. On turn 3. Jacek though is side by side with the Red Bull, and Jacek gets the move done. A surprising move. 4th second, but Pink Eye Penguin isn't done there. It's now three cars into one corner, and Jacek getting hit from the rear right. But they continue on. Pink Eye Penguin shifting down the inside of Jacek. Side by side through this corner. Doesn't usually end too well, but Pink Eye Penguin maintains it. Jacek, fair racing between these two. And it's still side by side for basically the entire sector. Heading into turns 9. And Jacek goes for the move of the race. Corner going side by side with Jacek. Pink Eye Penguin spins out. And it's continuing on side by side. Jacek, for a moment, had the lead. Connor gets back the lead. Pink Eye Penguin losing several positions, has front wing damage, and that's the end for the pursuit of the lead of the race. Jacek and Connor now. The battle for the sprint continues on in the main race. Elmo overtaking Star Defender. Warski overtaking Pink Eye Penguin, who has front wing damage, as I mentioned, but nobody expected that move from the V-Carb. Nobody expected that move into turns 9 and 10. Pink Eye Penguin, something's happened there to make him spin. As there are 8.5 laps remaining. Connor has pressed the go button because he is gapping Jacek slightly. 6/10 splitting the two leading drivers. Jacek opening up DRS. As caution sector 3, and that's the Haas of Warski, who something's happened there to make him spin right in front of the pit entry. Pink Eye Penguin going into the pits and retiring from the session, has no more interest in continuing on. The battle for the lead continues. Jacek, the rear of the Mercedes, but no movement here. It's a super fast lap. Here's getting a 3-second time penalty. A lot of those appearing. Let's have a look at the time penalties actually. So, and then Jeff also getting time penalty. 3 seconds for both Star Defender and Tino. 6 seconds for Kiers, Lenners, KJ, and names Jeff. Warski also having a 3-second time penalty. Let's focus back on the lead. Just like opening up DRS. Pounces on the move into turn 3. Once had the DRS on the exit of turn 3, Connor side by side at the apex. And who has a DRS? Nobody has a DRS. And it's a drag race. And Jacek will get the move. Not the first time he's been in the lead, but probably for the first time he's been in a substantial... Been in the lead for suspension tank. Never mind. Connor goes down the inside of Jacek. And it's... Oh my goodness me. He gets the move done. I didn't expect that. But Jacek is still continuing on to get past. And for the meantime, Jacek has the lead of the race. Elmo has just been staring at these two battling and has catched up to both of them. Now a potential dark horse for the final 5 laps of this race. As we open up the DRS, let's go on board with the Aston Martin. Because will Connor go for the move down the inside on this lap? He will. Side by side, trying to leave each other space. Jacek on the sausage curb. Who has the DRS? Nobody has the DRS once again. And this time Elmo will be very patient in none, just watching these two battle. Jacek going round the outside of Connor and maintaining the lead. Holy. This is a crazy battle. Connor saving all of that ERS on 90% ERS. Jacek can't really do much about that, considering the fact that he's got no DRS. And Connor will open that rear wing, deploying overtake. Leonard's getting free-swing time penalty. Connor will go down the inside of Jacek. Jacek getting the better exit, but this time, importantly, the Mercedes has the DRS on this lap. For the last 2 laps, there wasn't any DRS between those two. But Jacek goes down the inside, defends in the inside, keeps the position once again. These laps, Connor will go down the inside once again, but this time I believe that Jacek is going to stay there. Never mind, Connor maintaining his position of attack in whatever corner I will attack. And the battle rages on. It's hard to get the popcorn out, honestly. What a battle for the lead. Elmo just praying, hoping that these two at some point may crash. DRS for Connor. This feels like deja vu. But once again, it's up into turn 3. Connor getting the move on Jacek. Once again, Jacek. Equal footing. Connor this time has the DRS. And the move will get down. Never mind, Jacek is going to pounce back down the inside. Contact. Connor going round the outside, but nothing. Jacek made a hard wall of defense. Connor trying to go round the outside. Nothing. And Connor will go down the inside. It's an opportune moves for every single corner. The Haas did put out the yellow flags. That was Vorsky. Through the final corner. Lap 34 begins now. Connor, Jacek, Elmo waiting in the wings. This feels like the 5th time that these two have gone side by side into turn 3. But it's happening once again. Jacek would want to get the better exit. Doesn't. Who has the DRS? Nobody has the DRS. Never mind. Jacek does have the DRS. And Jacek will stay on the racing line into turn 4. Switches to the inside line. Connor goes to the outside. But Jacek still is in the lead by some miracle. For the final few laps, Connor will go round the outside. And will it make it stick? It's still side by side. And still, it's Connor who's currently in the lead for this drag race into turns 9. But never mind, Connor gets the lead of the race. But it's lap 35. It's the penultimate lap between these two drivers. Elmo still is there without a time penalty. And it's the final countdown. We're going down the laps. Everything was waiting for this one. Pink Eye Penguin out of the picture. Spun. Something happened there. Maybe we'll get an instant report. Jacek in 2nd place. Probably biding his time for the final lap. Jacek didn't want that rear wheel spin. Into turn into the sector 3. Connor has taken this time to just get away from Jacek as far as possible to lessen the impact of DRS. Jacek only has 45% of ERS to work with. Deploys it because this is the final lap. This is the final countdown. I mentioned that twice. But into turns number 2. Will they go side by side? Connor flashing LED into turn 3. Jacek waiting, and this will be the final move of the race. VC trying to get the best exit out of turn 3 as much as possible. Deploying the ERS, going down into 0, but there's nothing Jacek can do. Connor has been absolutely perfect throughout this entire race. The constant switchbacks, the constant swapping of positions with the lead, and that means he keeps the win streak going, bar the sprint race. Tino getting 3 second time penalty. That, and through the final corner. Well fought, well battled. Connor will once again take the win at Austria. Jacek in a well fought second. Elmo in third. Tino has spun and loses probably several positions. Tino retiring from the race at the final corner. Donster Kiers now getting 5th. Backas the Haas in 6th. Donster in 7th. Lellers in 8th. KJDT in 9th. And Tino will be in a retirement in 10th. What a battle. Well done to everyone. Jeez. That was so Connor wins. Jacek in second, Elmo in third, Star Defender for a well-placed 4th, Kiers in 5th, Backas in 5th. That was definitely a race. 3 safety cars, constant switching for the leads throughout when there were green flag races, but well deserved. Commiserations with Jacek because that was a few audacious moves in there. But what is the next round that we have to focus on? Because the next round in turn 1 will be Bahrain. And that will be a sight to behold. Thank you for the commentary. Thank you for being patient. It was long and grueling. Who's your driver of the day? Backas. Backas didn't have any time penalties, finishing in 6th. In a higher points places than he's not usually. So Backas in the Haas, it's a good finish for him. Well done to him. And that will be the end. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week.